Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. This is Miss Brianne, and welcome to another month of Coding Craze. And Coding Craze is the once-a-month program that runs during the school year in order to show you all the different coding toys and software and robots and games that we here have to offer at the Westhampton Free Library, as well as my personal collection. I hope soon that we'll be able to meet live again. You can try out these awesome toys for yourself. But until then, I'm just going to show you demonstrations on how some of these toys work. Now, as you remember in last month's Coding Craze, as well as a couple of our Coding Fun videos, I have showed you the magnet snap together circuits called littleBits, which are by Sphero. And today I'm going to show you how to put together different types of circuits with the littleBits, as well as some real-life examples on how some of these circuits could work. Now, I have two of the kits with me today. I have the Base Inventor kit, and I have the Rule Your Room kit. Now, we're going to use components from both of these in order to put together some very fun circuits. So, are we ready to begin? Now, before we begin, it's going to be a quick review. Now, anything that's blue is the power bit, which is, it gives you your power. Anything that's pink is an input bit, which means you have to do something to it in order to get your circuit to work. Anything that's orange is simply wires, which connects parts together. And anything that's green is an output bit, which means something happens to it. Alright, with that being said, are we ready to begin? Alright, let's get these kits out of the way. And we are going to get started. So, I'm going to start by putting together a very simple circuit. Let me zoom in a little bit. So, what we have is, we have our power bit right over here. And we're going to take our cable and we're going to plug it into our power bit. Then, we're going to connect it to our battery. So we got our power going, and next we're going to connect it to our large LED light. So we're going to snap that together like so. There we go. So we just snapped together a power bit and an LED. Let's see what happens when I turn it on. Oh, there we go. It lights up. And it's just a very simple circuit. That's the simplest circuits. We have our power bit, which we connected to a battery supply. There's also a power bit that connects to a USB. And our output bit, which is our LED light. Put it together, turn on the power bit, and it lights up. Alright, so that's our simple circuit. So we're going to keep this here for now. And now we're going to try other circuits. Let's try something different. Here we go. So we're going to do another simple circuit, but instead of a simple LED light, we're going to use something called a bar graph. And it has many different types of lights. So we're going to connect that to the power bit, and we're going to turn it on. And look at that. Now, as of right now, all the lights are lit up, and you see it's different colors of lights. And you can do cool things with this. Now, a real-life example of a circuit like this is a phone charger. What it does is you plug it in, and slowly the bar graph type circuit, each light will go on, and once all the lights are on, it indicates that it's fully charged. But this is a simple bar graph circuit. Cool, huh? Let me turn this off. And just to show you, now if you see the teeth on it, they have to be opposite each other. If they're near each other, they repel. But once they're opposite each other, they snap together. You don't need screwdrivers or anything. Now, this is cool, huh? Every time you turn it on, it lights up. But it gets kind of boring, right? Having them all light up at once. Here's what you're probably thinking. How can we make it so that we can light up one light at a time, or as many as we want? Well, now if you know, the blue is the power bit and the green is the output bit. The power bit supplies the power and the output does an action. Like this supplies the battery power and this lights up. Now, there's a way to control this circuit, and we're going to add a pink bit called the input bit. Which means in order to get the output to work, you have to do an action with the input. This is a dimmer. And it can control the output depending on which way you turn it. So we're going to take away the bar graph. We're going to attach the input bit to the bar graph. And then we're going to attach our power bit to the input. Now once I turn it on, as you can see, nothing happens, right? I mean, there's still power, we still have battery power, it's still working. But here's what happens when I turn the knob. See how it lights up one lamp at a time? Isn't that cool? And if you turn it the other way, the lights go off. And you can do this as slow or as fast as you want. Now there's some real life examples to this. This is something that is used in a household dimmer switch. Have you ever seen if you slide them, the light goes brighter or goes dimmer? And also stereo volume control. Or if you turn it up, it gradually goes louder. If you turn it down, it gets quieter. This is basically very similar to what the circuit we see here is. Cool, huh? Alright, let's switch this off. Now, we're going to do something else with this bar graph. Now, we've seen how it does if we just connect the power to the bar graph, and we've seen what it does if we throw in a dimmer. Well, now we're going to put in a different type of input. So I'm going to take away the dimmer. And we're going to put something in called a sound trigger. So we're going to connect our sound trigger to the bar graph, and then the power to the sound trigger. Now there's a way to control how sensitive the sound trigger is. You need a screwdriver for that, but it's sensitive enough, so I'm not going to do it. So when I turn it on, it's going to go off. As I'm talking, it's sensitive that it lights up. But watch what happens. Oh. Watch what happens when I bang the table. Cool, huh? And every time I talk, it lights up. It's that sensitive. I should have decreased the sensitivity a little bit more. Well, let's see that again. Amazing. Now, real-life examples of this are the human ear. Yes, it's very sensitive to sound. And you know those clap-on lights, when you clap and it turns on? It goes by this particular circuit. Alright, so we are done with the bar graph. So we're going to put the sound trigger and the bar graph away. And we're going to bring back the dimmer. And we have another new output called the buzzer. And what the buzzer does is that once it's connected to a power source, or if it's connected to an input source, it makes a sound. Now, how loud or how soft it is, or whether or not it goes on or not, depends on the type of input being used. And for our input, we're going to use a dimmer. So we're going to connect the dimmer to the buzzer, and then the power to the dimmer. We're going to turn it on. As you can see, nothing happens, right? But watch what happens when I turn up the dimmer. So, depending on how if I turn the dimmer this way, it gets louder. If I turn the dimmer the other way, it gets quieter. And that's how it works. Real life examples of this are a doorbell. It only rings if somebody pushes a button. And a car alarm. Which means if somebody tries to get into your car, that's when it triggers. Could you use this to do Morse code, boys and girls? What do you think? You could probably use this to communicate a code to your friends. That's simple Morse code for SOS. And you can use this buzzer to do Morse code if you want. If you want, which means fun secret messages to your friends. If you're interested, look up Morse code and what each sound means for the letters. And then you have a secret way to communicate with your friends. Alright, so next up, we are going, oh yeah, remember the bar graph and the dimmer? It also it also works like TV volume control. If you turn it up or down, you see that the dials move back and forth. That's basically what the bar graph is with the dimmer. But I'm going to show you something cool. So we're going to turn the dimmer all the way down. We're going to get rid of the buzzer. And I'm going to bring another output in. This output bit is called a servo. It's almost like a very special type of motor. Now, see this little wheel thing? I'm going to attach it to the servo. And I'm going to I have it set in swing mode because it works two different ways. It swings around and it can turn. So I'm going to connect my dimmer to the servo and the power to the dimmer. Now let's see what happens when I turn it on. So as you can see, it's going back and forth. And I turn the dimmer all the way down so it's off, but watch what happens when I turn it up. It goes slow, and the more I turn the dimmer, the faster it goes. And I have it in swing mode, so the wheel is swinging back and forth. And when I turn it slow, it slows down until it doesn't work anymore, and keep going. Then, now with the swing mode, a real life example of this is windshield washers, how they swing back and forth. It uses this type of circuit. Now, what I'm going to do with the servo is I'm now going to switch it into turn mode. Now, right now it's not working, but let's see what happens when I turn up the knob in the dimmer. It goes back and forth, and the speed of it depends on how fast I turn the dimmer. Now, a real-life example of the turn mode crane servo is like a truck crane, how it moves around to move things. But isn't that cool? All right. All right, so we're going to do another circuit now. So we're going to say goodbye to our dimmer and our servo for right now. And we are going to introduce a brand new bit. And it's a wire bit or a connector bit, and it's called the makey bit. Now this is a special type of wire bit that if you connect it to things that conduct electricity, including us, we conduct electricity, it makes the circuit run. So, and here's how we're going to use it. So we have our makey. We are going to connect our power bit to the bottom part of the makey. Then we're going to grab our buzzer again. Yeah, we're going to grab our buzzer again, and we're going to connect it to the other side of the makey. Now, and this is our final circuit, and we're introducing the makey. Now we're going to take these very special clips. So we have two pairs of clips called alligator clips. So we're going to take one pair. And we're going to connect one end to the two holes right next to the buzzer. There we go. There's one. Then we're going to take our other pair of clips and we're going to attach one end to the holes near the power. Alright. Get that out of the way so I can connect the power bit. With that ready, let's see what happens when I turn it on. So as you can see, nothing really happens, right? But wait, hold on. Look what we have here. Hold on. We have two loose alligator clips. Let's see what happens when I touch them together. So every time I touch them, the buzzer goes on. And what happens every time I touch it? Cool, huh? And you can connect these to anything that conducts electricity, a piece of metal, paper clips. If you have these and you put this circuit together, I have an objective for you. Find out anything that you can. See if, and touch both alligator clips to see if it will work. Now, this example here, what does this remind you of? Who's heard, let me give you a hint, who's heard of the operation game? Who's heard the game Operation where you have to take the pieces out of the person? And what happens when you touch the sides? Yes, the person's nose gets red and makes a loud sound. That's basically a real-life example of this particular circuit here. Cool, huh? So let's turn this off. But these are simple circuits that you can put together with your littleBits kits. And there's many more cool ideas to do with these, and the more littleBits you have, the better the circuits and the bigger your inventions will be. So I strongly suggest you check these out. And I have more littleBits coming in, so I'm probably going to be showing you some other awesome activities. But in any event, this is our Coding Craze meeting for today, and we'll have another meeting next month, and I'll show you something else that's some other awesome toys and computer software that we here have to offer. But I hope you had fun today. I hope you got to see these awesome circuits, and I hope to see you next month. But until then, please feel free to check out all the other virtual programs that we, as well as the other children's librarians here, have to offer at the library. And in any event, take good care of yourselves. Have a great day, and I'll see you next month.